right, we're back for part 2 of our little mini Walkman Repair-A-Thon. We took a look at the sports Walkman in part 1. I'll put a link somewhere up here somewhere for you to go back and check out part 1. If you haven't watched part 1, please check that out first. Today we're going to look at this one. It is a Sony WM-F2015. So, first thing we need to do is clean this guy up because it has got just crap all over it. I don't want to touch it. All right, it cleaned up pretty okay. Looks not too bad. It's definitely scratched up and it's been used. This one with batteries in it is completely dead. Now, we do have some corrosion on some of the battery terminals. So there's some good greenness right there. So who knows what else is in there, but let's just try it and see. It goes like that and that. And nothing. So I went and grabbed some headphones and just to see if it actually has any life. When we flip it over to the radio, we get radio static. I don't know if you can hear that. Pretty sure you can hear that now. So the unit is alive, but we'll definitely have to clean that corrosion out of the battery terminals here on the battery terminals. But let's try and pop it open and see if it's, I don't know, if the belt, if the motor's working and maybe it's just super quiet and we can't hear it and it's just yet another belt. This one is no screws. It is actually all held together by plastic clips. So even in the Walkman age, they were still trying to tick off people that tried to fix things. You can see the difference in the plastic between this plastic here and this plastic here. This is the line of the back cover that is held on by clips. So all we have to do is find a good place to get that started and it should just come right off. Everything I've seen online said to start here at the battery compartment because this is thinner plastic, because it's not, it's only this part here, and you can usually get it started, which seems to be pretty accurate. There we go. Actually just popped right out. We're getting there. This guy also had a bunch of spider webs and stuff inside. All that white stuff there is spider web nest stuff. So, yay, that'll be fun to clean. And there we go. So the back comes right off, which is nice. And yeah, there's belt pieces all over the place. This is going to be a cleanup one, and we're not going to be able to find out how big that belt was by the remnants. And there's one of our spider nests. Luckily, there's nothing in it. So the belt had disintegrated, as you can see by this pile, into a molten, plasticky, rubbery pile, and it was completely melted around this spool or the pulley on the motor, and it was completely embedded in like underneath and on top. So I had to dig out as much as I could, and then I'm just trying to clean off all of the extra residue with some isopropyl alcohol and a toothbrush, because you need the toothbrush, because what it'll do is it will get right into the groove where the belt sits and clean out any leftover belt. Also clean out some more of these cobwebs. Got quite a lot of the spider webs out. which is good because, you know, who likes spider webs? I'm gonna have to find out how big the original belt was and see if I have a replacement. With the amount of gunk that I cleaned off of the pulley on the motor, most likely that was completely stopping the motor from working because it was jammed in right underneath. But now I can move it and it seems to move freely. So we should probably get some power in here and give it a try and see if it works. All right, we got the gunk all cleaned out of the motor pulley, and now it's spinning pretty freely. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to tell if this is working or not, but I've got the bench power supply hooked up, just 2.5 volts. I don't need to run it full bore. I just need to see that it actually is going to spin. And then I got to find out the right size belt to put in here. So let's just hit the play button and see what happens. And yeah, you can't really tell that it's playing or that it's moving, but if I touch it, yeah, I can feel it moving. It is making some noise. Let's just unhook my microphone here. There, I stuck a little piece of Captain tape on the motor, so if it spins, you should see that tape go whipping around. And there it goes. Wow, it pretty much disappears. All right, let's find a belt. So while I go look for a new belt, I thought we should do something just because this actually takes some time. Is we need to clean up this battery contact. So here is our battery terminal out of the unit. Let's bring it up, take a look. So you can see the corrosion on there. It's on the outside and on the inside of the terminal. But there's an easy way to take care of this. White vinegar. Just pour some on top. And we'll let her sit. You might be able to see some bubbles forming on the corrosion. That's just how the vinegar eats it off. So let's let that sit, and hopefully that should get rid of the corrosion while we look for a belt. All right, so I found out that this is actually a 2-belt system. There is another like tape or there's another belt groove under here. So this one actually holds a 1 belt here and 1 belt down under here. And where they go is the one that's underneath goes down here and around this pulley. So that's the 2 that go there. And then there's one that goes around here, and this goes on to the big one. So I couldn't find any information about what belt sizes go where. It's all just people selling belt sets. So someone's figured out the magic pair of numbers and they sell them, but they don't want to, provide them or anything. So I've got a couple of belts that I think are close to the right size. And what we can do is this potentiometer here adjusts the speed. So when we put in a tape, we'll put in something that we know and we know well, and I will tune it to what the speed should be on here. So to get the belts on, we just go underneath this belt and it kind of hooks on to the other, to the groove, and there it is in. Now, one problem is that it goes over top of this bar here that is part of the whole tape mechanism. This is actually supposed to go underneath. So what we'll do is you just have to unhook this right here, and we'll just kind of hold it up and take the belt, and the belt will just kind of scoot underneath, and then we just put that back in there again. So now the belt is sitting properly inside there and it's running flat. And then the last belt goes on the big pulley here and hooks up to the motor. Just like that. So now we have the belt that goes on this one, and then it goes to the second layer of this, and then this one goes on there. So now we have to test it and see if the audio is correct. So I am going to do that. Let's just see if it moves. We'll hook up the bench power supply, give it 3 volts. And see if she works. Oh wait, gotta turn the bench power supply on. Here we go. All right, everything's turning. That's a good sign. So I'm just going to take a listen to some music that I really know well and see how the speed is. Also, if it sounds good. It sounds great. It's almost bang on. Like I play with the potentiometer a little this way, a little that way, and it was basically right where it was supposed to be. So I really lucked out in picking those belts because they happen to be exactly the right speed. So let's put this back together, which is really not all that much to put back together. We really just have to snap the back on. But before we put it all back together, we need to get a piece out. Let's see how our battery terminal is doing in the vinegar here. It hasn't been sitting that long, maybe 10 minutes tops if I can actually grab it and pick it up. It looks pretty good. There's some corrosion and some rough spots on the top where the stuff was, where the corrosion was. But I don't think that's going to stop it from working. In fact, I know it's not going to stop it from working because it was fine before, even with a little bit of corrosion on it. So let's take a look here. So this is just after a few minutes in the vinegar bath. You can see it ate all the superficial corrosion off and now is pretty good. So let's get this back in the bottom, the bottom half of the case and get it all back together. All right, so we got the battery panel back into the battery compartment. So that is good to go. I think I'm going to give the volume potentiometer a little shot of deoxit and run that back and forth. It wasn't crackling when it changed the volume, but the, little preventive measures here. Take the back panel, put it on like this, line up the switches and the power connector, and then as you work it down, you'll find that the battery connectors kind of fall into place, and then you can just start re-clipping it. Okay, so there's the back, totally put back on, and everything is good. Got our tape of YouTube safe music on here. And get some batteries in. And
now is aux in mode.
All right, let's see if she plays. Oh, I'll put that battery cover back on. This Walkman is fixed. Not bad. Still got to clean out a little bit of spider webs that I can't reach with a regular cotton swab, but I do have some long ones. All right, so I got some nice long little Q-tips here, or cotton swabbies. And these, oh yeah, these are working great. They get right into the back part where I couldn't reach the spider webs and get those cleaned out. So, Walkman number 2, perfect, working, back to life, which is great. So that's it for part 2 of the Walkman Repair-A-Thon series. The WM-F2015 has been restored to working condition and saved from landfill, which is what we always want to do, is keep electronics out of landfill. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. If you want to see when part 3 is coming out, you gotta hit that notification button. Thanks for watching this week, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.